Rams trade talks are escalating. Report reveals wild update in regards to the Rams potentially moving on from one of their superstar players. We're discussing the Rams' options in the draft to replace this player and why the Rams would make this trade. We're talking all about that and much more all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. If you guys are not currently subscribed to the channel, I do ask you guys a favor. Can you just think about possibly going out and subscribing to the channel. We currently sit at about 5,603 subscribers, but if you keep coming back for more, you like what you see, you want more daily Rams content. Speaking of daily, I'm recording this at 11 p.m. Pacific. I'm exhausted. It's Thursday night. I had a long day of work, but I'm still trying to make it daily Rams content for you guys. If you want more daily Rams content, consider pressing that subscribe button. If you're not currently subscribed, we try to get these videos out to you guys every single day, so do us a favor. If you keep coming back for more again and you like what you see, why not subscribe to the channel? Just think about it. That's all that I'm asking. But speaking on this interesting conversation, right? Davante Adams. Would the Rams trade Davante Adams during the NFL draft? The Rams have already tried to trade Davante Adams earlier this offseason. Is that rumor still alive? This comes to us from JB Scott of Turf Show Times. When you break down this article, what essentially the conversation kind of is look, the Rams almost traded Davante Adams. Is it possible that that is still on the table? I think we've had and heard and kind of seen like low-key conversations about them trading Puka Nacua, right? Because he's still a cheap contract. You haven't paid him yet. He's obviously going through a rough time right now off the field, and obviously you don't want to just let go of that player and give up on that player right away, right? You want to give this player a chance, of course. We're talking about how much we love Puka Nacua, but if you are talking about this from a general manager perspective, I think you have to have these conversations. You're not doing your job if you're Les Snead and you're Sean McVay if you're not having these conversations about how can we make this team better? How can we be the best team set up now and then also in the future, right? That's why we have these conversations about the Rams potentially drafting a quarterback this offseason, right? Or signing a veteran quarterback, right? They lost out on Kirk Cousins. Can you go back and get Jimmy G? Could it be a different option for you as well, quarterback? So these are all conversations I think the Rams realistically need to be having. But when we're talking about trading Davante Adams, I think it's crazy. But then you sit and you really talk about it and you say this offseason, literally just a couple weeks ago, Sean McVay admitted, right? Yeah, we did almost trade him. We had conversations about it, and Davante Adams is a professional. He's a grown man. We love him. We were happy to move on with him. But they almost traded Davante Adams. They were in probably sounded like deep conversations to possibly go out and get A.J. Brown, move on from Davante Adams. Would have been a wild move in my mind, but we're sitting here. I don't want you guys to sit here and hear this story and be like, whatever. It's not really real. Josh saw smoke and mirrors, and maybe that is the case. I can't really think of some good reasons why the Rams would trade Davante Adams, but they almost did, right? And that kind of really makes you raise an eyebrow and think, why did they do that? Why were they thinking about it? And are they still in the back of their mind or back of someone's mind in this room, are they still considering this option, right? And when you're talking about Davante Adams and what he did for the Rams last season, of course, he did some good things. And I think you're talking about a receiver, I should say, who's about to be 33 years of age, 14 touchdowns. I think he's about to be 34 years of age, actually, 33 currently. But, 14 receiving touchdowns, looking at prime Davante Adams at times. Sure, if you want to be hypercritical, I do not criticize this, but 1 yard touchdowns, quote unquote, less impressive. Some haters were saying stuff like that about Davante Adams' 1 yard touchdowns. Touchdowns are touchdowns. If they were easy, then everyone would get them, right? 14 is still impressive. 700-ish yards, dealt with a little bit of injury last year. Ultimately, the Rams couldn't get it done as a team. So I don't really see, again, negatives as to keeping Davante Adams. Now, if you want to talk about some quote-unquote positives of trading Davante Adams, he's 34 in December this year. So as you're approaching the playoffs, he's going to be 34 years of age. Not really too concerned about that. I think he's still playing really, really well. Sure, yeah, 14 touchdowns is nice, but his efficiency, right? 789 in receiving yards, 60 receptions were the lowest totals in nearly a decade, suggesting a potential decline in overall volume and speed. I mean, you also want to credit Puka Nacua for being on the opposite side of Davante this season and obviously playing pretty well himself, taking up some of the stats himself. There's only one football, right, in the NFL. So give some of that as a reason why some of his numbers were low in terms of Davante Adams. But he was dealing with a hamstring injury, right, late in the season last year, and that is also a concern for an aging player. maybe you're still in the conversation to get an A.J. Brown or a player like that. Or maybe you're sitting there and you're saying, in this draft, realistically speaking, we can get a young, cheaper option, save some money, and open up some options at other positions to potentially go out and invest in maybe another linebacker, maybe invest in some depth at the D tackle position. Like we've been talking about all these needs the Rams really do feel they need, right, to obviously fill these holes. Maybe you do that. Again, I'm not really falling in love with that conversation, but I think it's a conversation, again, worth having. If the Rams thought about trading him once, what makes them not want to trade him now? Right? What has changed from 2 months ago when they were about to get A.J. Brown to now about their thoughts about Davante Adams, right? The only thing you can think of is the A.J. Brown trade fell through. Well, what if the Eagles change their mind? What if A.J. Brown demands a trade? What if the price goes down? Those are all conversations that are realistic conversations I think, again, we need to have. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Rams could actually go out and trade Davante Adams on draft night? What would that even look like? We can continue to talk about this. There are some options for the Rams, right, in terms of what you're looking at in the draft. Can Snead cook up Makai Lemon? Could you go out and get a Carnell Tate? Is Carnell Tate just going to be sitting there right in front of you for the taking? That is another conversation I think that is to be had. I want to make sure I emphasize that I don't think we'll pull this image up right here. I love this image right here, Snead. I don't think this guy who knows how to go out and get a Super Bowl ring, as this picture is lagging, of course, and I'm trying to show you guys this. I don't think Snead is going to sit there and say, you know what, we need another Super Bowl. You know what's going to get us another Super Bowl? Makai Lemon and a third-round pick for Davante Adams. And let's be real about that conversation, right? I'm doing mock drafts. I've been telling you guys, go on Pro Football Network, for example, and just get a feel for what a trade might look like and what moving around in the draft, what the draft can look like. Multiple, any mock draft will kind of create a multitude of options for you in terms of different positions and who takes whom, whatever. You can also trade on Pro Football Network. And so I went out and I tried to make a trade on Pro Football Network, and I said, let's see if we can make a trade for Davante Adams. And I did. We'll talk about that in a second. But I also gave another option. Here's an alternative for the Rams. Now, Snead, in terms of having the conversation about trading the 13th pick, he seemed to kind of say that's not an option. It's not even on the table to move up in the draft or to move down in the draft. So for whatever the Rams are having those conversations within the building, they seem to all be on the same page, or at least Snead seems to be on that page of, I'm not trading the 13th pick no matter what. And so that's what it seems like. But say you want to move back in the draft. You want to get more draft capital. You don't like the players sitting there. It's Makai Lemon. It's Jordan Tyson. It's a lot of receivers. It's offensive tackles. You don't really need that if you're the Rams, right? So maybe you go out and say, you know what? Let's go get some more draft capital. Let's not completely say F them picks. Let's go get some more draft picks and go add to what we already have as a great roster. So you trade the 13th pick in the draft, you get a third round pick, and you move down 6 spots in the first round. Kind of a bit of a drop, if I'm being honest. But you go out, you get a CJ Allen linebacker, could be your new green dot guy, a guy who learns behind Nate Landman and Omar Speights, and also could bring some versatility to the roster as well in terms of what the linebacking room looks like. And then all of a sudden you still have a third round pick, and I think you have a second round pick as well, if I'm not mistaken. So you have more picks to kind of go out and get some more different pieces at different positions. That could be an option for the Rams. Doesn't sound like Snead and the Rams are that into that. So maybe you're talking about then trading Davante Adams. I don't love this idea, but okay. You know what, Kansas City? Here's Davante Adams. You want to try to win a Super Bowl still with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes coming off the torn ACL? Here is Davante Adams. I tried my best to get the most value for Davante Adams. I know a lot of Rams fans will sit here and say, give me a first-round pick if I'm trading him to Kansas City. That's just not what the trade machine on Pro Football Network was allowing me to do. So Pro Football Network, the best deal I was able to find for multiple teams was a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick for Davante Adams. I don't know how you guys feel about a deal like this. I went 3 rounds for this mock draft as well. You go get a Jordan Tyson or you get a Makai Lemon to replace Davante Adams. Now you have a rookie and Puka Nacua. You got all these tight end options. You got a new cornerback maybe in the third round or second round, right? I think it's third round. You get a linebacker. You get another new center maybe, right? Connor Lew out of Auburn. Either way, This could be an option for the Rams to get more draft capital, but again, I go back to it's weird we're still hearing these rumors, but I also thought it was really weird the rumors about A.J. Brown and trading Davante Adams even were admitted to begin with from the jump. So a lot of crazy things can happen in the NFL, but you guys let me know, what are your thoughts? Give me a number. Give me a percent chance you think of the Rams. What are the odds the Rams actually move on from Davante Adams after just one season with him? What do you think the odds of the Rams are? Or what do you think the odds are of the Rams trading Davante Adams? I will say my number. You guys type your number for a second. My number for the Rams, a percent chance of the Rams trading Davante Adams on draft night, 1%. 1% chance that happens. I don't think the Rams are win now and then also they're going to trade one of their best receiving options. I just don't think that is what's going to happen. But you let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. An interesting conversation to have. I think. What are your thoughts down below? Let me know. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Other than that, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.